Hey there, Facebook and Instagram land. Welcome to this week's episode of Surviving His Sex Addiction and Betrayal Show. I am Jenny Rochelle. I am a betrayal trauma specialist. That means I'm a life coach and a spiritual director who gets the honor and pleasure of working with women who are recovering from betrayal trauma. So what does that mean? It means that if it means that they have experienced either the discovery that their husband is a sex addict or has betrayed them. Pretty straightforward. So this week I want to talk about the intersection of spiritual beliefs and boundaries and safety, and because this is a thing that comes up frequently when I'm working with clients is overcoming like this ingrained belief that spirituality and boundaries or asking for what you need to feel safe are in conflict with one another, and they're not. Like they're deeply connected. But I know that there's so many of you who believe that like being a good wife or being a good mom means a certain set of things, and it could mean like putting your husband's or your kids' needs before you. It could be and sometimes it's even more extreme depending on where you are in your spiritual belief system, that like a wife is supposed to be quiet and submissive. And unfortunately what happens is that so many of the ladies I work with, and this is common in the community at large for partners of sex addicts, is that they often end up turning to you often end up turning to you know a pastor or a chaplain or a priest or a minister, as your sort of first response, as your first response team when you experience this crisis in your life, because so many of you I know are deeply religious. And I love that about all of you. I love that about all of you. And so you go to these people who don't understand. You go to these people who don't understand um, what sex addiction is or how to respond to partners' needs. They don't understand that you have trauma, and so you get these ideas reinforced that like you're supposed to pray for your husband, and just that kind of response. And like, I'm sorry, but that is not helpful for you. You don't need to pray for your husband. You don't need to be quiet and submissive in this moment. In this moment, you need to stand up tall and proud and ask for what you need to feel safe. And that's going to ask you to challenge your belief system and everything that you've been taught. And let's do that. Like, it is time for all of us to do that. I think that's what's happening at this global level right now, is we are accosting and shaking to the core these belief systems that we've been operating under that are misogynistic and racist. And Jesus Christ, and I'm going to say his name in vain. It is time to like say no more to that belief system that's keeping you stuck. I mean, I hope that you can see that. And if you can't, please schedule a time to chat with me. Chatwithjenny.com. Let's get on the phone and we'll talk about it. And you can argue with me and you can push back, and then hopefully we'll find some middle ground. But I just want to relieve you of this burden that you have to carry this alone and that this is your fault. And just let me tell you, eye to eye, woman to woman, like, praying for your husband's soul is not going to get him into recovery alone. Like, he needs support and you need support. You both need a lot of support to come back from this terrible and crippling disease. And it is a disease, and there is recovery. And like, you need lots of support from people who are trained to work with you and your husband specifically. So, but that's him. I'm worried about you. I'm worried about this prison that you're living in that's keeping you stuck because you feel like you don't have a right to ask for what you need to feel safe, and like your spiritual beliefs, all the things that make you this beautiful, loving, caring, faithful woman are working against you right now. and we got to get you through that. And I need to help you see that they are not in conflict with one another. And and I'll close with like, I love to tell a story of this time when I was just starting, my master's at the Episcopal Seminary here in town. And I went to meet with my advisor, who was an Episcopal priest. And at the time, like, I had just found out that, my now ex husband had relapsed after coming back from rehab. And I was trying to figure out what I wanted to do with my life, and did I want to stay married or not stay married, and what did it mean, and what did God want me to do. And I went into this man's office who I barely knew, and I sat there and I asked him, I told him my story, and I said, does God want me to stay married? And he sat there for a moment, and like, this is one of those moments in which my life hinged, and it changed the trajectory of my life. And he sat there and he said to me, no. Christ is well documented as being against the suffering of women. So I offer that to you. And he wasn't telling me what to do, and I still labored for years about what to do in my marriage. But like, it released me from this bondage that like, being a good wife and being a good mom meant I had to stay married at all costs. Because I don't think that's true. I don't. I'm sorry. And, if you believe that, I love you. And of course you do, like, because that's how you've been raised. And also, like, you have a right to be happy. You don't have to sacrifice your happiness and your well-being because of this notion that you have to stay married and that divorce is an abomination. So let's get on the phone and talk about that, all right? Chatwithjenny.com, schedule a time to talk with me. Let's pick through that together, and just know that I will hold you with such grace and compassion in your spiritual beliefs, and I have the deepest and utmost respect for like what you believe. And if I can give you a little bit of relief from the suffering that those beliefs are also causing you right now, that would make me overjoyed, because that's why I do what I do. Okay, enough for today. Again, chatwithjenny.com. I would love to connect with you, and let's talk about this one-on-one. All right? Have a good Sunday, loves.